This moment was made for you. This is not random, and you are not here by accident. What you're feeling deep inside, that stirring, that sense that something massive is shifting, it's real. You've been chosen, set apart, and guided to this exact point in time because you're ready. You're not just watching a video, you're stepping into alignment with the very thing your soul has been calling in. Everything you've battled, every delay, every moment of silence was leading you to this breakthrough. This is your activation point. Get ready, because what's coming isn't small. It's powerful, it's divine, and it has your name written all over it. Let's unlock it together. A moment of quiet before everything accelerates. What's unfolding now is not random. Every delay, every unanswered question, every long silence was weaving a map you couldn't yet see. The road behind wasn't a detour, it was a sharpening ground. What once looked like chaos now reveals its deeper rhythm, syncing perfectly with the emergence of your next season. But here's the turning point: presence. Not halfway, not distracted, fully here. There's a message meant to unlock something dormant, but it asks for your full attention. If the pull inside you has been growing, it's because what you're about to hear matches a frequency your spirit has already tuned into. Before it begins, contribute to the flow. Interact with this moment in a way that signals you're awake to it. This is not about luck, it's about timing, finally catching up to preparation. Everything changes from here. Every challenge you've endured was part of an unseen forge. The missteps, the weight, the loneliness, none of it was wasted. What felt like breakdowns were in truth recalibrations. You were being reshaped, refined not by ease, but by endurance. This wasn't a punishment, it was preparation in its rawest form. Through every unspoken fear and every moment of doubt, something powerful was being built. And now, after all that pressure, the shift is undeniable. The recognition comes not from others, but from the sacred stillness that says, you made it through. The transformation wasn't only in your circumstances, it was in the core of who you are. The unfamiliar ground you walked wasn't meant to break you, but to awaken a version of you capable of holding what's next. If you feel the abundance of divine love filling your heart, now is the perfect time to share it. By clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube and contributing $100 or more, you can help spread God's blessings far and wide. Your offering will not only touch your own life, but also reach countless souls through this platform. Each of you holds a sacred place in God's magnificent plan, and your generosity will be the answer to many prayers. Take action now. Share your blessings to honor His kingdom, for you were created to accomplish even greater works through His loving hands. May God's grace be with you. The tide has shifted. What once felt like an endless climb now begins to level into vision and clarity. The silence you walked through held seeds you couldn't yet see. That long waiting wasn't empty, it was fertile. Now the air carries change, and it speaks directly to the part of you that kept going even when nothing made sense. This isn't about rewards in the conventional sense, it's deeper. It's the alignment of readiness meeting opportunity. There are doors that will recognize you not because you knocked, but because you became the person who could walk through them. The closed chapters are behind you now, and what opens ahead carries a pulse you've already started to feel. The next chapter doesn't ask for proof, only presence. Endurance has carved strength into your bones. What once looked like stillness was actually the turning of unseen gears. The long pause you felt wasn't a void, but a season of calibration, preparing you with precision for what's unfolding now. This wasn't idle time. It was a gestation of something immense. Every stalled moment, every lingering silence was a signal that transformation was being measured, not denied. As one phase dissolves, another begins with force. The road ahead isn't waiting for permission. It's activated by the resilience you've already built. This isn't the start. It's the unveiling of what's been developing all along. The climb tested more than endurance. It proved the presence of something unbreakable within you. What looked like setbacks were hidden signals guiding your trajectory upward. Even the detours were designing something specific, something only revealed after surviving the pressure. It was never just about waiting. It was about being prepared in ways you couldn't measure. And now that tension has turned into momentum. The resistance has transformed into an undeniable pull toward what's next. What rises now isn't by chance. It's earned. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. You're standing on the edge of a massive opening, one that didn't appear until you had the eyes to recognize it. What once felt unreachable is now stretching toward you, not because it suddenly became real, but because you've finally stepped into the capacity to receive it. There's no more turning back. The cycle of delay is complete, and what lies ahead is laced with acceleration. There's a rhythm to this season that syncs with the truth you've been carrying, even when everything looked uncertain. What was hidden is now unfolding, and it fits you perfectly. Every tremor you felt was shaping you with care. The unanswered nights and the quiet questioning weren't signs of distance. They were evidence that something precise was forming in silence. It wasn't emptiness, it was depth being built. Strength wasn't handed to you. It was drawn out through every moment you wanted to quit, but didn't. This victory doesn't scream, it echoes. Now that you've outlasted the shadow, the light that meets you comes with clarity. The shift ahead won't just elevate, it will redefine. This wasn't a surface-level challenge, it was an inner reshaping. You are called to rise above not just circumstances, but old versions of yourself. That's why the reward is greater than visibility. It's a complete redefinition of your reality. What's approaching isn't just an external change, but a whole recalibration of what you're ready to hold. Everything inside you has been prepared to match the scale of what's arriving. You didn't just endure, you evolved. The test wasn't just passed, it was mastered in silence. Recognition has been quietly gathering in the background. This wasn't about being seen by others, but about being witnessed in spirit. The inner choices, the silent sacrifices, the moments of quiet resolve were all part of a deeper scan, one that measured the honesty of your evolution. The test wasn't broadcasted, but it was real, and your growth echoed through it. The essence of who you are has shifted, and what was once questioned has now been affirmed in the unseen realms. This was never about performance, it was about presence. A deeper strength has taken root in you, and it has not gone unnoticed. Now, the unseen verdict has been delivered. Readiness. What's approaching is not a tweak to your current path, but a rerouting into something radically new. The gears of change are no longer distant. They're within reach, humming with momentum. The era of slow building has made way for rapid ascent, and this time, the change will sweep through every layer of your life. Identity, direction, rhythm, all will be realigned. The environment around you will no longer reflect the version of you that's been left behind. What's coming will require a different language, a different pace, and a deeper knowing. This is a complete system upgrade, not just surface-level renewal. The evolution that unfolds next isn't linear, it's exponential. Internal structures, once stitched by habit, are being dismantled to make room for higher frameworks of thought and energy. A shift is underway, so thorough that the life you once recognized will feel like an echo. It's not loss, it's refinement. You are being translated into a new frequency of existence, one where old methods will no longer hold weight. Clarity, once glimpsed, is now settling into the architecture of your being. As this redefinition takes form, surprises will rise, each one tied not to chance, but to your soul's agreement to evolve. The shedding may feel like instability at first, but it's the birthing ground of depth. You're stepping beyond the threshold of the familiar, and the disorientation is a sign that you're no longer aligned with the limitations you once accepted. Everything is being rewired: the way you relate, the way you interpret, the way you manifest. A new compass is being embedded within you, one that no longer depends on external maps. You're not being led forward, you are being stretched upward. The collapse of what once anchored you is not the end, but the clearing required for true expansion. This transition goes beyond surface labels or momentary breakthroughs. It's an ascent into a reality you've never fully walked in before. A new internal operating system is installing, and its code is written in higher perception, inner calm, and intuitive strength. What you're unlocking cannot be mapped by the logic of your past self. The dimensions opening ahead are spacious, fluid, and responsive to your upgraded awareness. Time bends, meaning deepens, and what felt abstract will now feel embodied. You are not returning. You are emerging. Perception is widening, like a sky once clouded, now breaking open. What once seemed ordinary now glimmers with unseen meaning. There's a shift happening beneath the surface, a tuning of your inner compass that draws you closer to clarity. This isn't illusion. It's the peeling away of old filters that blurred your vision. With each layer dropped, your awareness deepens, allowing new insight to settle. The unfamiliar sensations that accompany this transformation aren't signs of loss. They are signals that the old constraints are dissolving. The heaviness you've carried, tied to worn-out beliefs, is finally unraveling. The fog of hesitation is lifting, and the weight of fear, doubt, and mental clutter is loosening its grip. The process will strip away what once limited your reach and reintroduce you to your original power. The lies once whispered in moments of quiet despair, those falsehoods about unworthiness and insufficiency, are crumbling now. Their echoes no longer belong in the space you're entering. The truth has always been that your value was never negotiable, and the time has come to reclaim that knowing. Shedding these internal distortions isn't just about feeling better, it's about making room for your authentic authority. Watch as things begin to bend in your favor, not because you forced them, but because you stopped believing you didn't deserve them. What was once distant now draws near. This season is an unmasking, revealing a version of you who no longer apologizes for existing in power. Dear brothers and sisters, may the peace of God fill your hearts today. I come to remind you of a profound truth. Our lives are firmly established in God's divine purpose, untouched by the fleeting worries of this world. As Scripture tells us, "Give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap." Luke 6:38. Like the mighty oak whose roots are planted deep in rich soil, our foundation is anchored in God's eternal truth. Every move we make, every stand we take, is upheld by His enduring strength. Today, you have the opportunity to participate in this divine blessing. By clicking the Super Thank You button and offering a gift of $50, you will sow into a harvest that will return to you many times over in God's abundant grace. Ownership is no longer a concept, it's a practice. The fire you've endured wasn't just to test your endurance, but to awaken what was dormant. Experience has carved wisdom into you, and now those lessons stand ready to be wielded. There's no need to shrink or seek validation from old sources. This is the stretch into embodiment, into decision, into presence. You no longer wonder if you're ready. You act like it. The doubt has no seat here. There's room only for certainty, for aligned action, for the kind of boldness that comes from deep recognition of self. Your steps from here forward carry a different weight. They aren't small, they shake things. This is your moment. Hit subscribe now and step into something greater. Don't miss out. This isn't a whisper of hope, it's a roar of arrival. What's approaching isn't waiting for you to catch up, it's meeting you right where you are. The shift has begun, and the path forward no longer hides behind delay. There is no more guessing. The floodgates that once held back your progress have been lifted, and movement is immediate. You'll feel it in how quickly the momentum builds, in how effortlessly aligned things begin to flow. The long stillness wasn't empty. It was a build-up to this moment of release. Nothing you've endured was for nothing. Each ache, each quiet breakdown was part of this forward surge. Momentum becomes identity. What unfolds next is not just a better chapter, it's a reinvention of your internal architecture. The essence of who you are is cracking open, not with destruction, but with sacred renewal. What's ahead is not a version of your old life polished. It's something entirely other. This clarity won't just shift your day-to-day, it will rewrite your foundation. The rebirth is not symbolic, it's lived. It becomes breath, thought, intuition. You aren't becoming, you are arriving. And the terrain that meets you now is shaped to match the strength you had to earn in silence. This is the unveiling of your truest self. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Transformation doesn't always arrive gently. It often disrupts what once felt familiar. In the early stages, it might feel as if something is peeling away from deep within, as if echoes of who you once were are fading into silence. But this is not an end. It is a sacred unveiling. A higher frequency is calling you into alignment with who you truly are. You are not simply changing. You are evolving into a clearer, more awakened expression of your purpose. This shift isn't cosmetic, it's foundational. It touches the core of your being, prompting a new way of seeing, sensing, and living. The ground beneath may feel unfamiliar for a time, but the energy holding you is constant and true. Through every internal shake and external release, one truth stands unwavering. Divine love has never left your side. It has carried you through every unraveling and will continue to anchor you through the elevation ahead. This unshakable presence is not earned or revoked. It is the essence from which your spirit was born. When difficulty blurred your vision and storms pressed hard against your path, it may have seemed like love had stepped away, but it never did. It was there in the stillness, in the ache, in the quiet pull to keep going. What lifts you now isn't random. It's rooted in a love that has never wavered. This isn't about striving, it's about remembering. As you rise into a new timeline, let that remembrance be your internal compass. Let it fuel your decisions, ground your peace, and stir your courage. You walk not alone, but hand in hand with a force that shaped the stars and still knows your name by heart. The old has finished its cycle. What felt like resistance was only the last stretch of preparation. The version of you that once doubted, hesitated, or shrank no longer fits the path ahead. This next unfolding is not a continuation. It's a complete redefinition. Every layer of who you've been is being upgraded, not to make you someone else, but to reconnect you with who you truly are. Growth will no longer be measured by struggle, but by embodiment. This isn't a phase, it's an emergence. You've already moved through the refining fires. What now awaits is a season saturated with clarity, activation, and creative power. It's not about seeking approval, it's about walking in alignment with your design. The signal has been sent, and the response is arriving in waves. Alignment is not just spiritual, it becomes physical, emotional, even cellular. Doors once locked will now shift open, not because you pushed harder, but because you stopped doubting your right to walk through them. Elevation is not a reward. It is the natural result of being in sync with your essence. The energy you've poured into perseverance, the strength it took to hold faith when results were invisible, is now culminating in an extraordinary convergence. What comes next is not just brighter, it's cleaner, more honest, and deeply fulfilling. You're not catching a break. You're stepping into the reward of alignment. Nothing about this convergence is accidental. The path, though crooked and uncertain at times, has led precisely here. The invisible strands of intention, effort, prayer, and resilience are being pulled into formation. You're not waiting for the stars to align. They already have. You're not chasing breakthrough, it's arrived. Every closed loop, every hard-earned lesson, every quiet surrender has generated the shift that now moves through your life like a force of nature. You don't need to hesitate. The space you've been prepared for is now making itself known. This moment has been shaped by more than effort. It has been designed by a higher pattern, one that now unfolds in full expression through you. Everything is accelerating now. Internal shifts and external alignments are happening at once, creating a sense that time itself is rearranging to accommodate your emergence. Momentum isn't waiting on your permission, it's already in motion. Barriers are dissolving, paths are clearing, and answers that once felt distant are unfolding with stunning clarity. You've crossed the threshold where striving ends and embodiment begins. There's no need to chase what's already drawn to you. What you're stepping into isn't random. It's been encoded in your essence all along. The turning point has arrived, and every element is responding to your transformation in perfect synchronization, not by force, but by resonance. Internal expansion has triggered a complete recalibration of your environment. The old pace, the outdated roles, the former timelines, none of them fit the new configuration. Everything that once stood as delay is now being replaced by unmistakable signs of forward motion. You are not repeating a cycle. You're stepping into an upgraded path that matches your frequency. What's happening isn't subtle, it's seismic. What felt paused is now being reactivated with intention. This isn't about minor improvements. It's a foundational restructuring. The wave that's moving through your life isn't gentle. It's designed to uproot and rebuild, to cleanse and catalyze. Change is touching every layer of your life. Habits, perceptions, dynamics, all are being reshaped. It may feel like the scaffolding of your identity is being dismantled, but that's only because something more authentic is demanding space. You're not losing yourself. You're unearthing the version of you that's been waiting beneath the layers. The discomfort isn't danger, it's data. Every shift is an invitation to align with greater integrity and truth. No area is being overlooked. This transformation is all-encompassing, and it carries the power to lift your life far beyond the edges of your current imagination. It's more than evolution, it's revelation. Now is the moment to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. With a donation of $100 or more, you can actively participate in His divine mission and contribute to His greater plan. Every offering you make reflects the boundless generosity of God, and I trust it will return to you abundantly, far exceeding your hopes. Always remember, His protection and blessing accompany your every step and every act of giving. You are a vital part of His sacred design. You are strong and radiant, steadfast, like His mighty rock. Experience God's miracles. Feel the rewards of your generosity deep within your soul, and shine your light with boldness and faith. May you be richly blessed, and may the light of the Lord continually guide your journey. A deeper knowing is awakening, one that remembers before words and exists beyond logic. You're not simply healing, you are remembering your capacity. The limitations that once defined you are dissolving like illusions exposed to light. You've reached the point where the old no longer has permission to anchor you. This internal shift is echoing outward, and reality itself is beginning to mold around this new embodiment. You'll notice patterns breaking, cycles ending, and sudden clarity rising. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. The entire fabric of your experience is being rewoven to reflect who you've become. Emergence has begun. There's a new rhythm moving through you, one that flows with deeper insight, instinctive strength, and sharpened discernment. You're not just turning a page, the entire book is changing. This isn't a restart, it's a redefinition. You're no longer hoping for change, you are the change. This recalibration reaches into every dimension of your being. It's the internal flame that reignites purpose, restores balance, and initiates impact. You're being invited to move not with hesitation, but with command. Every lesson has led here. Every quiet moment of faith has prepared the soil for this emergence. Now, all that's left is to step fully in. Everything within is beginning to echo with certainty. The kind that doesn't ask for permission, but rises on its own. A deeper intelligence has awakened in you, one that no longer accepts limitation as truth. There's a new signature in your energy, signaling that a former identity has dissolved and a more expansive self is now emerging. The inner threshold has been crossed, and with it comes the quiet confidence of someone who finally remembers what they were made for. This isn't a return, it's a full emergence. The power that once lay dormant is stirring now, no longer hidden beneath the noise of hesitation. This is the moment to engage it fully, to stretch into the shape of your true design. Clarity is setting in like a sunrise on untouched land. Thoughts that once looped in doubt are being replaced by knowing. The constraints that shadowed your belief in self are falling apart under the weight of a higher truth. You are here to move with purpose. Your voice, your vision, your impact, it all matters more than you've been told. The rhythm of your becoming is not random, it is deliberate and undeniable. There's no need to prove anything, only to step into what has always belonged to you. The timeline ahead is wide open, asking only one thing: that you meet it as your full, untamed self. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones. and receive the most important revelations early. The pull you feel now is acceleration. The unfolding is no longer gradual. It's rapid, intentional, and unavoidable. You've spent seasons wondering if things would ever shift, but the pressure wasn't a pause. It was the build-up to this release. Momentum is now your companion, ushering you into places that once felt far off. Every encounter, every opportunity, every resource you need is being drawn toward your frequency. It's no longer about if or when. It's about how ready you are to respond. The signal has gone out, and the echo is returning with force. The movement of your life is no longer operating on delay. The currents have changed direction, and everything is flowing in unison toward fulfillment. The phase of waiting has ended, not because you rushed it, but because you aligned with it. Things that once seemed stuck are now unlocking with ease, and what once looked like a detour is now revealing itself as divine navigation. The pace will surprise you, but don't resist it. What's unfolding is in direct proportion to what you've endured in silence. The new chapter doesn't ask you to try harder. It asks you to trust deeper. What rises now from within you is the result of quiet endurance, not loud effort. The trial didn't bury you, it crystallized you.